Watch. Fixed.
Should be live.
This is just
Just
light.
turn it off, John. It's the stupid camera.
Well,
You don't want it to skip, though.
it's not skipping now, so let's
Yeah.
keep it on.
Mark the professionals.
Yeah, right.
Should,
The lighting has to be perfect.
it should be live.
Okay, well, that's just before. All right, if anyone can hear us, let us know in the comments if the audio is still horrible and crazy, or if you can't hear this, but you'll probably say that anyway. And the down's even watching. So, okay. Actually, John, can you go have Bill start watching and let us know if the audio is crazy? And now we're in light blue, it seems like.
Yeah, very light.
Indeed, indeed. All right.
I was going to say something else, but I'm going to stick with technical difficulties.
Yeah, see
It was going to sound like technical, but
yeah, no, I got you.
okay.
All right. Oh, hey, Mr. Muncherman. Oh. All right. Well, all right. Looks like the live show is working now. All right. Live show on January 16th, 2015, part dos. Now, if you guys couldn't hear us earlier, which you couldn't, we've got Craig from GamePod Combat Zone here on this auspicious live show. We're here to talk about a lot of different things, including GamePod Combat Zone being the largest indoor facility in North America, or possibly the world, and also the fact that we've got our BB Wars Episode 2 Shadows of Fate coming up, which is exclusively sponsored by G&G Armaments, and it's going to be at GamePod Combat Zone on June 27th and 28th. Now, we've thrown a lot of events with you guys.
We have. And you know
Yes.
why?
Why?
Because GI events are fun. And that's why we like doing them.
Stop it,
It
you.
keeps the style of what the game's all about, having fun. Some guys take the sport too seriously, and we're always happy to have the GI events come out.
Well, we really appreciate it because, I mean, you guys have the premier venue on the West Coast, and it's always fun to play there because it's such a large facility that sometimes you kind of forget you're indoors because it's just, you'd normally expect that facility like, a couple blocks of, amount town. You expect to be outdoors. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with GamePod Combat Zone, go there as soon as you are financially able. It's in Antioch, California, so essentially in Northern California, and you're going to see a couple square blocks of a mountain town. You're also going to see, the front third of 737 with a terminal. You're going to see part of a school grounds. They have a small jail in there. I mean, there's a lot of different things, including vehicles.
We do have vehicles. You got to have vehicles when you got an indoor city, right?
Oh, I
It's
completely
mandatory.
agree.
Without those, it's an epic fail.
And I think we threw. I mean, I'm a bit biased because I helped throw the zombie game there with you guys, but that was the funnest zombie game I'd went to because I was so scared at a certain point that I screamed like a little girl.
There's a lot of that going on. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just you.
I'm glad there were more people getting their man card taken away than just me.
They
so.
definitely did. There were some man pennies that were lost that day, and we'll just leave it at that. But that had to go down as the best zombie game we've ever had out there, and we've done quite a few. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, we're probably going to go over some topics you guys couldn't hear before. Like, I'm glad Airsoft Vad is here, Airsoft Vicious and Delicious. We're actually, earlier when you guys couldn't hear, we're talking about his appearance at our zombie game because he dressed up in a full clown outfit.
That would be
right there.
Kayleen.
Airsoft Vad, yeah.
What's happening, Kayleen?
I believe it's a team, and he's
It
one
is
of the
Vicious
members.
and Delicious,
Yeah.
yes. Good group of guys.
Skull and Cross Bacon, which is
Yes.
awesome. I still have that patch. It's awesome. But yeah, he dressed up as a clown. He had a squeaky hammer, and then when he got turned to a zombie, he actually put on an even scarier clown mask on his face, and that really made the outfit for me.
He did. And one great thing about those guys, especially Kayleen, he's been known to give away gear that he's done using and just kind of pays it back to the players. He'll pick out a player that maybe doesn't have all the gear, maybe is borrowing or renting that day, and he will bring in the stuff occasionally and pass that on to fellow players, which that's what it's all about.
I think that's a great thing about Airsoft is there's a sincere sense of community That I mean, I did play paintball way back in the day, and
So did I.
yeah, and I mean, I think that's where a lot of the older airsofters like kind of got into airsoft. They started in paintball because that's what was available. But I mean, I found some sense of community in paintball, but it feels so much more stronger in airsoft from my perspective.
I think that's one of the biggest draws to airsoft, and I got to agree with you. That's one of the reasons that I've been in it so long, is just because of the community, the camaraderie. It's just, we're all going to have those people that we don't want to be around, but for airsoft, it's a very small minority. It's the majority of the players are just awesome.
Absolutely. Now let's go into history of GamePod Combat Zone in Antioch, California. How long ago did it start?
Let's see. We were 2011, I think, so when we first started building. Is that about right? Yeah, I think it's 2011. So we've been open. It'll be 3 years come next March.
Okay. Well, wow. It feels like you guys have been open for longer.
It
because
does.
the games are very memorable. So.
It does. Well, we've had some pretty fun games out there.
Yeah.
And of course, the GI games. I mean, come on.
Stop it. Well, actually, we have another member of the GamePod staff here in the audience, and if Raul wouldn't mind just poking his head in for just a little bit, as well as showing us his T-shirt. It's a pretty dope T-shirt. Yeah, just get right on in there.
Plop right in the back.
Yeah. There we go. That's Raul. He's, I believe, you're the head ref at GamePod Combat Zone, or one of the lead refs.
Manager.
The man. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, what's really cool about this guy in particular is we've had you out for our Hunger Games, and he knows the field like the back of his hand. But I've seen him like run around, shoot a bunch of people, leap through a window, run around, shoot more people, and leap through another window. It's crazy when you know the field as well as this gentleman does. So very impressive.
Well, he takes care of that field every week.
Quite. So he should know. And where? By the way, just so our viewers know, where'd you get that shirt?
Hot Topics.
Well played, sir. Very well played.
Very well.
All right, back to the corner. Back to the corner with you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
You can actually check out Rule in some of our Hunger Games videos. And were you the one that whistled the? Yeah. Okay, so there's one Hunger Games video. I think it's our most recent one that we did at GamePod Combat Zone. The only thing I could find was a grenade, and the only thing I think Greg Wong could find was a shotgun. And I threw the grenade, and he blasted me in the face, and we both got killed at the same time. And then we hear the Hunger Game whistle.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the one.
I never get that correct, so I'm glad someone else did it better than I could. Yeah, so there's already people saying they want that shirt, so hot topic. So yes, the GamePod Combat Zone started about 3 years ago.
Yeah, we opened about just over 2 years ago. So we opened in March, but we had a little bit of a build-up process before that. So for me, it's a little bit longer, but opened, yeah, it's coming up on 3 years. It'll be 3 years next March. Is that about right? Or is it 4 years? I don't know. Time flies because you guys made it so much fun to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being that is the largest indoor facility in North America, nay, I say the world, you guys constantly add new stuff to it, and that's another thing that I like about fields. And you can tell when someone has pride in their field when they're constantly making it better for the players or thinking of new ideas to keep players on their toes, so to speak.
We try. Yeah. One of the things that kind of gets us for the airsoft side is we can't do a lot. We obviously can't move the buildings. Some of them weigh 20,000 pounds. So we try to do other stuff, vehicles, block windows, that kind of thing, because we do the law enforcement training Monday through Friday, and they require a specific type of layout, which we can't alter too much. So we've been playing this balancing game of trying to get the most for the weekends for the airsofters while keeping the LEO guys happy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw that middle line because, I mean,
it's tough.
Government and law enforcement money, I mean, that's a significant chunk of change for business.
That's what we built it for, yeah.
But what's interesting is, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in your field that is real world.
Yes.
And I'm going to just throw this out there. Disposable Heroes told me not to tell anybody, but I don't care.
Uh-oh.
Disposable Heroes. No, people need
nice
to know
group
this.
of guys, though.
Great group of guys. They're really fun to play airsoft with. Really good to follow into battle because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
However, what's really cool is I think at one of the ops, you had told them that, hey, or no, maybe you didn't tell them until after the game was over, but the cars in there are real world. Correct?
Yep.
So if you happen to shift them into neutral and you happen to make your own roadblocks, totally feasible.
I told them after the game.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, great!
Really? We could have pushed it down."
Yeah.
Yeah, I told them after the game.
They would have made it.
They would have run somebody over with that.
Yeah, possibility. So you got to do it with great care, and you guys have a consummate ref staff that are on the field pretty much.
Lucky to have some of the best refs around.
Absolutely.
It's tough to get a really good ref crew. Those guys are what keep the game together during the events.
And a bad crew of referees can ruin the field, and that's why it's so important. So.
And we've been through our share of questionable refs. It's just it's tough to get a good crew. We're real fortunate, and those are the guys that keep the games going good every weekend, and can't say enough good things about them.
Absolutely. And let's see. Let's talk about some other things you've changed in the field since I first went there. You've added destroyable buildings.
We have.
Yes. And that's essentially you have detonator cords that can hook into audio cables, and then they connect with an air
Have an air cannon set up so you can actually blow some pancake batter.
And that was the interesting thing, is that you guys went through the research to decide, like, hey, which powder is going to actually be the easiest to get off a player's uniform? Because
Not only that, it's also the concrete floors. For some reason, pancake batter, it does not slip. So
Wow.
we found that out by accident. So pancake batter it is.
Yeah, no, that's so important, because I actually did see a gentleman who was in one of the buildings that was detonated, and he was covered head to toe, and he was wearing all
Just kinda
black.
came out and brushed it all off.
No, he just shook around and was
There you
like,
go.
and came
Yep,
off.
that's the whole deal.
So destroyable buildings. You've added doors for a zombie game as well.
We did.
Let's see. I'm trying. Oh yeah, smoke machines. That was kind of a big
Yeah,
deal.
those are a lot of fun when we run those.
Yeah.
Those changed the whole thing up a lot. We like it.
Absolutely.
Those are great.
You also have one of the claims to fame, at least in our videos that we like using, is the fact that you have not only vehicles in your facility. I mean, you have a buggy, you have a van, you have a smaller buggy, but the main buggy you use has a modified minigun. It's not an actual minigun.
Right.
It's what is it? It's got a P90 with dual sector
We used a
gears in it.
P90 gearbox in it.
Yeah.
And just kind of built a minigun around it, and that is always fun. Keeps people on their toes.
It's funny because I told Bill from marketing that he was going to be running that during one of our games. He's going to be in the gunner seat in the buggy, and it's. I mean, we really ought to let people pay to do that, because it is so.
We could.
It's a possibility. Maybe we'll think about it.
We'll have to do that. Maybe some kind of
Yeah.
raffle for that.
Like a direct action buggy mission or
There you
something.
go.
But what's cool is the minigun can spin 360 degrees, I believe.
Yep.
Go up and down a little bit. But in the passenger seat, you have a small screen along with like a joystick you'd see for like a fighter combat game. And let's say the lights go out. You can switch that screen into thermal vision, so you can just shoot at heat signatures, which is immensely
We
satisfying.
actually like when the lights go out because they can't see it coming.
Yes.
That's always good.
Yeah, no, that buggy is pretty. Oh yeah, Bill's commenting there that he was the buggy gunner.
He was. He did a good job too. He didn't break anything.
And that is important. That is important.
That is important.
But it's fun to see people like scatter like cockroaches when you like shine a light
do.
on them. Yeah,
They do.
yeah, it's intensely satisfying. Now you also have a big control tower where you can see everything or see most of the field from.
Actually, yeah, we can see. We've got a couple cameras on the back side of the field, so what we can't see direct on from the tower windows, we can see through camera on monitors up in the tower. So we got a bird's eye view of the whole thing.
That's awesome.
And some of the stuff we get to see up there, the players doing movements, is awesome.
Yeah, and I mean there are some players, especially the folks that have played there multiple times.
Yeah.
Like they get to know the lay of the field. They can figure out what they can and can't do, where they should and shouldn't. And it's pretty impressive. You know, a lot of grenades. I've been there when there's been multiple rockets going off.
Those are always fun too.
Yes. You do also have some field artillery, which I've yet to see used in a battle, but it looks cool as hell.
The howitzer, yeah, we haven't used that. We may have to change that here pretty soon.
Well, you never know. I mean, if we have vehicles coming in, then it might be an option. However, those black points or rocket launchers are definitely very effective on target.
They are, and they're
So-
a lot of fun to use too.
Indeed.
Reminds me of Team Therapists when they came out for TVB5. They used the hell out of those things, and they are like surgeons.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they have multiple rocket launchers, and they even came out to a game we held at Code Red, which is down here in Southern
Right.
California, right before it closed, and I think they brought out 3 or 4 of them, and they were just doing volleys, just volleys.
Those guys
into
are
it.
surgeons with those.
They're
Very
and
impressive.
it's weird to see someone that is so competent yet dressed like a minion from Despicable Me.
That's right. Isn't everything named after an M?
Yeah, for all the TVB games we've had, they showed up something starting with M. So first one was Mormon missionaries, then Mexican Americans, and then Minions.
Perfect spirit.
Yeah,
Perfect
no,
spirit. That's what it's all about.
They're really all about just having fun, and I can totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
I like that they're on the rebel side. So, but yeah, so let's see more stuff about GamePod. Obviously, you guys have vehicles. You know, rocket launchers are allowed. You guys use grenades. I want to actually talk a little bit about some changes you guys have made as far as your rule set regarding Polar Stars.
Yeah, everybody knows what's been going on. There's been a big backlash against Polar Stars, and first I got to say, it's not the system; it's the user. The majority of the guys with Polar Stars we see, we don't have any problem at all with these guys. So I kind of hate to see a whole group of people get thrown into one pot and kind of boiled alive, because it's really just a small group of guys that are a problem. But you know, insurance companies get wind of this type of thing, and of course, being legal fields, we have to have insurance. So you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's come up with ideas on how to even these things out, or they just won't be allowed at fields.
Yeah, I mean, and that specific issue, I mean, I don't know how much detail you can go into,
I
but
don't want to give too much away, but the fields, and I know a couple down here in SoCal are trying to do whatever they can to make it so that the Polar Star users can still have a place to play. So everybody's fighting for it. So nobody's just kind of dumping everybody in the ocean. We're trying to do everything we can, you know, do some rule modifications to kind of put them on the same par, because it's a stigma they don't really deserve. A couple guys screwed it up for everybody. It doesn't seem fair. So one thing you'll see is in most of the fields, and this will probably go countrywide, short period where you're going to be required to have turning locks on them. That should help get rid of a lot of the issues, and then you'll see some rate of fire caps, that type of thing, and hopefully that will put this to rest, and everybody won't assume every time they see a hose, the guy's going to be, a problem.
Yeah. No, and that's interesting because we've seen some of those rules come down in Southern California where, nothing above 30 rounds a second, or some people even talk about nothing above 20 rounds a second, but there are a lot of guns that come out of the box with 21 or 22 rounds, so that's a little tough. But yeah, and there are other fields that say, like, hey, if you're using a Polar Star, semi-only, no questions. So.
Well, we do semi and full auto games, but we have our full auto is kind of modified now. We've changed it because spray and pray, I mean, some people feel okay about it, but we don't really like the spray and pray because it kind of takes away from the sport. If you got to just hose somebody down with BBs, you're either not hitting the target or they're cheating.
Well, I mean, I will say, I've never actually had the chance to run a light machine gun at Ops, but I do like having a buddy who will just do suppressive
Support
fire.
gunner, but when you've got everybody on a field that's doing the spray and pray, it kind of gets, so for LMGs, it's kind of a different story. That's what they do. So we got burst fire, and it's basically just limited. You're limited if you're 15 rounds per second or lower. You're limited about a 1 second trigger pull. And if you've got one of those speed guns that shoots out laser beams, we give you about a quarter second.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Mark does, and he does take great pride in his tech work, but, I mean, when we had him at a D14, the first time we went out there, he shot his gun off, and I think it's like 42 rounds a second.
Wow.
And, like,
fast.
everyone on his own team took cover.
Yeah.
Like, they were, like, horizontal with, like, parallel with him, and they're like, Jesus Christ.
We would rather see the player's skill conquer the field rather than how many BBs can be shot out of a barrel.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I think for him, it's more of like he's like trying to see like the limits to which he
Oh,
can
yeah,
push,
yeah. Which is cool.
So.
There's some guys that can pull off some amazing things, even with the AEGs, and just get ridiculous rates of fire out of it. And that is just that's a tech.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like in the movies when I hear like an MG42
right,
going off,
just
like,
kind of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Someone's asking a question. We'll try and answer questions throughout the show since we're a little late, and we are going to get to shout-outs a little bit later, except for this one. Tristan Clark, your shout-out is approved. Someone was asking, Tristan, wow, there's a couple Tristans. Tristan Cruz was, when will FMG4 M-Lock strike and your other FMG4s be back in stock? Actually, our tech department is hard at work getting those done. We do have a lot of custom orders as well as custom guns that they're currently just pumping out as fast as they physically can, but they want to make sure that they're up to the world-class standards of our GI tech department. So some of it is that we're waiting on parts to come in. I mean, there are a lot of port issues going on with the state of California and the West Coast. We've got some of them taken care of, but there are still some issues we're dealing with. So part of it, our tech department has a lot of work. They're cranking out as fast as they can, and they're trying to get the parts in. So as soon as that is available, it will get back online. And I appreciate your question because I really like our FMG4 since I believe they're based off of Lonex Parts, which is a great company.
I like that one. Yeah, old man playing airsoft. That is right. 25 years, buddy.
Yeah, he has been in this sport. That's right. I forgot since the earlier part one of this live show got yanked. This gentleman has been playing airsoft longer than I have by at least 6 years. So when exactly did you start playing airsoft?
God, it was about 23, 25 years ago.
Wow,
long time.
Wow, so that would be
sometime in the 90s.
1990.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Long time, and we didn't have a large selection of stuff to use back
No,
then.
it's
either.
like hey, like two M4s and M16. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's impressive. Oh, this is a good question. Dom Coldweaver 1, would you recommend the Chris Vector or the Tokyo Marui 870? I want to hear your opinion on that first.
I like that Tokyo Marui.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's just a really nice shotgun, especially the gas one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a badass gun.
I am probably going to go with the Tokyo Marui M870, but in all reality, it really depends on your playstyle. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
if you plan on wanting to play with a shotgun, then that is an epic shotgun to choose. I was really excited because I love Tokyo Marui shotguns. I've had a Tokyo Marui shotgun for over a decade now, and it has worked flawlessly, and it's actually got a lot of range on it. However, the Tokyo Marui M870 also has an added feature, in addition to it being gas, is that you can switch from 3-shot to 6-shot, which is epically awesome, and you can slam fire the gun, although I wouldn't recommend that doing it all the time. However, at the zombie game, I had no choice because I was scared like a little girl. I literally like slam fired the gun dry.
I saw the video. I saw some of the actual play on the field, and it was yeah.
I turned. I was like, ah!
I also noticed as you get older and you've been playing longer, you tend to lighten up your load a little bit. So you're gonna, like, I'll tend to use maybe a pistol and a shotgun nowadays. I don't run an AEG too often because I'd like to have a little bit more challenge. I do the law enforcement training during the week, and it's kind of like the airsoft's fun for me in a way to kind of relax and have fun. So the times I do get out, which is not too often, although I think I'm going to make a couple more appearances this summer.
It was funny because like you did sneak into one of our games.
I
at
did.
some
I
point,
snuck
which
into
was
Tim versus
hilarious.
Bob 5, and nobody even knew I was out on the field.
Yeah, no, we literally had no idea. Some folks are asking what play carrier this is. I believe it is a Condor. Raul, would you do me a favor? Would you mind going out there and asking Mark just to be absolutely sure? Because I don't want to look like a complete idiot again. Thank you. Thank you. This is actually, in case you guys are wondering, we actually use these setups for an online and a physical board game that is going to be coming up hopefully next year called Z Year One. In fact, there are actually some big names in the cosplay industry that are going to be in this game. Leanna Vamp, Jessica Negri, which actually has blown up over the past couple years. You ever heard of her?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Very pretty girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be actually Grant Imahara from Mythbusters
All
that's
right.
in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, the photo from Z Year One is his profile picture.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So it's him mixing a lot of chemicals
Very
and whatnot.
nice.
So, okay. Actually, this is a good question. Since you've been playing Airsoft for years, what are your thoughts on Milson?
Milson, I think, is awesome.
Mhm.
I think just you just got to have the right expectations. But so here's the thing on Milsim, there are so many definitions of what Milsim is. I mean, you've got stuff that's kind of Milsim-ish or Milsim light,
Mhm.
going all the way to the Milsim. And if we want to do real Milsim, we're not carrying any more than 30 rounds.
Well, I mean, not 30 rounds, but like, you
Well,
know.
30 rounds per mag.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it really depends. It's all about how immersive you want to get into it. I love the Milsim stuff because that's pretty much what we do during the week with the training is
Mhm.
it's real on stuff. So that's probably one of my favorite. Unfortunately, it doesn't have as big of a following in the Airsoft community as would be nice.
Mhm.
So it's hard to hold bigger events for the Milsim as often.
It is a smaller subset of the Airsoft
Smaller
community, but
subset.
there's still a good crowd there.
Yes.
What play carrier is this?
Condor, Gunner, and Multicam.
Wow.
Nice. I
Yeah.
will be taking that home with me.
Oh dear.
Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, the other one over there has some blood on it.
Yeah,
not
it's
not real
awesome.
blood. Not real blood.
Not real blood?
Not real
All
blood.
right, never mind.
Or is it? Or is it?
Scene. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Like, it would be cooler if it was a bigger part of the community. But I mean, not everyone, caters to, or not everyone aspires to be a Milson player.
No,
but
no.
especially when you just get into it. So.
Well, AMS and those guys and Blake and those guys have been doing some really good Milsim events, and they're going to definitely be instrumental in helping grow that community more.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of players are really liking that. But the great thing about Airsoft, there's so many different styles of gameplay that anybody can get into it. You got
Absolutely.
the Milsim stuff, you got the regular pickup games on the weekend. I mean, it's just awesome, and it's really, really varied. And I think that's one of the big attractions. If you feel like just going out and screwing around for an afternoon, you can go play just a regular pickup game. If you want to get really into it and really go challenge yourself, hit some of the Milsim stuff. So
I will say, I think, I mean, when I was getting into Airsoft and I was, doing a lot of recreational games, like I wanted to go to a big op, and, the only ops around were Milsim ops, so to speak.
sure.
And it was really cool. I think for me, being a big nerd as I am, like board games, Dungeons & Dragons, video games, PC games, Warhammer 40,000, I like being immersed. I like feeling like, I'm in a movie, like a real life movie, a real life video game or something.
Right.
Like, I want to feel like I'm taken out of the real world. And I think that's for me why Milsim games are so amazing, and why,
absolutely.
I mean, over the years they've gotten even crazier. Like, you talk about Milsim Light or Diet Milsim or something. Like, I mean, Milsim West, for example, like, they take it even further.
Right.
And I don't know how much you've heard about their games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's interesting, like sleeping on the field, having limited ammo, having your resupply convoy overrun, and you don't have any ammo.
Yep.
Very interesting, especially when you get your dead body looted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I saw a few of those mug shots. It was pretty funny. There's a couple little contests on body looting going on.
Yeah,
at the last
yeah.
event. That was awesome.
Well, I was surprised by like how crazy and trollish you get with it. Like, certain things you can't take from people, other things you can pull out. Like, someone pulled out someone's speed loader, which had some of their BBs in it, and they opened up a speed loader and just poured it on the ground. And the guy was like, "Oh, now I gotta pick all these up." Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of different varieties of Airsoft games you can go to. And for example, like our BB Wars games, we try and be very clear with folks that they're not Milsim. We're trying to cater to basically the entire market of airsoft, get everyone into play at an operation, at a very like affordable operation, and then once you've had those chances, or once you've like been able to come out and have fun, maybe you want to go to an actual Milson game. There are definitely those options. However, generally Milson games cost like $100,
They're usually
$200.
over 100, couple
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's definitely not in the realm of affordable for just any airsoft.
No.
Yeah.
And I, do want to reiterate what you're saying about the GI games. I mean, everybody knows that those games are based around having fun, and that's kind of what the core of the sport really is about.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter winning or losing, any of that stuff, if you're not having fun. And that's one of the things I think is really a blast about GI is it's just everybody has such a great attitude. They're all coming to have fun for the day, and it just makes it a blast.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that because I mean that is really all we want to share as far as like with our games. We want to share like the actual joy of airsoft, and that's part of the reason why I kind of designed the games. We want everyone to bring everything in the kitchen sink.
Yep.
Like at Tim vs. Bob 3, I brought out 2 primaries, a submachine gun, 2 secondary weapons, 3 grenades, a claymore to strap to my negotiator's chest, a UAV, and an iPad. And then I had a bag of Tootsie Rolls and a bag of blow pops to bribe the local tribes with. I carried all that out in just one big scoop. So I
Nice.
literally just dumped it on a table. So it's nice to be able to just use everything in your inventory at any given moment. So.
And lots of good objective-based missions during those too.
Yes.
They're not just just a frilly game. It's always got a nice objective set. So you do still have to work your butt off to get the stuff won, to get the objectives done. But you have fun doing it.
What's crazy is, I mean, you do have fun doing it, but for me, I'm always amazed at like, I design these games to, have objectives, to be, have epic firefights around them, but I'm always surprised at how, the day's success for both the Rebels or the Imperials can really hinge on an individual player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like for example, I mean, it's not like Greg Wong was going above and beyond, but it was crazy that he was the one trying to detonate one of the buildings. He got in there, everyone got shot, and then the building got surrounded. He's like, "It's blown!" Boom,
Yep,
and then
took
detonated the
himself out,
building.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was cool because I was far away. He's like, "Greg, is that building detonated?" And
It is gone.
I saw it poof, and he's like,
I
"I'm
think
dead."
Greg actually got 2 buildings that day, didn't he?
I don't
I think
remember.
he might have.
I think so, but it was really cool just to see that happen and like just hear it over the radio. So it just felt awesome.
Yeah, it's just a blast. That kind of stuff's fun.
Airsoft Vad is asking, are banana suits and clown costumes Milsim enough? Hey, they're not Milsim, but if any of you guys are fans of the show Family Guy, I mean, they're going to be looking for guys in military outfits, so you're gonna definitely be fine. No, I would not bring a banana suit or a clown costume to Milsim events. However, I would highly suggest showing up as a rebel for our BB Wars games in either the banana or the clown suit or both.
If he wears a clown, he's got to be on the Imperial side. He does.
Nice. Well, I've never seen a banana run around at our games. I'd like to see that.
Kayleen, you've been challenged. Banana suit.
Quite. If you could bring some bananas.
Yeah.
There's
bananas,
a gentleman in Texas who had a full-on Mandalorian suit of armor. It wasn't Boba Fett. It was actually a subdued yellow. He's like, I'm not Boba Fett. I'm just a Mandalorian warrior.
Nice.
And he's like, can I bring this out? I was like, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm trying to get the rocket functional. I was like, oh. So.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, right? That'd be so awesome. Well, anyway, I just want to reiterate, we do have BB Wars Episode 2 Shadows of Fate coming up on June 27th, 28th at GamePod Combat Zone. Tickets are still available for now. However, the numbers are getting pretty high up there. So if you want to go, make sure you get your ticket as soon as possible because once they're sold out, we're not allowing walk-ons just to make the game safe and playable. Because we have had events there where we allowed walk-ons and the field did get a bit crowded. So we want to keep it at that right level where everyone is able to
We had
move
about
around.
400 for 10 versus about 5. Pretty close.
Yeah, it was. I think it was actually 425 or
Yeah.
something, and those corners got a little bit crowded.
Little bit crowded.
Yeah. But it was still like a bucket full of fun. I mean, it
That
was
was a
ridiculous. It was actually really fun because I saw some footage of these Imperial Elite Guard at this gas station trying to hold it down. Three of them are firing, and one of them is just getting as low as he can behind cover, screaming on the radio. Doesn't want to turn around because he's
Calling
getting
it for
shot.
backup.
Yeah, no, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so what? Do you have anything in store that you can publicly mention for GamePod Combat Zone? By the way, check them out on Facebook. They also have a website and maybe an Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. Now, not to guilt you into it, but
I'm guilted into it.
yeah, fair point.
Yeah, combatzonecqc.com. We do have a lot of stuff that we're trying to get done, but unfortunately, we got to do it around our training schedule,
Yes.
and it's been filling up. This year's been really busy as far as the training schedule. We've got a lot of the big 3-letter agencies have started coming in, so we've got a lot of those contracts. So when we can work around those, we've got a lot of plans on the table, just not a lot of time to do it. So we're just waiting for breaks.
Yeah, that is tough. I mean, it's especially if you're that busy. I mean, that's a good problem.
It's a good problem to have, but we also like to make sure our weekend guests have a blast. I mean, like, got a lot of stuff to add for you guys, so we're trying our best. As soon as we have some time, we're going to get that stuff in there.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's always fun just to go there for regular day of gameplay. One of our good friends, Soap from DevTech Airsoft, plays there a lot. He's a really good guy. He's also really good with younger crowds. So
he is really good.
Yeah.
He's good. We're looking, trying to start doing some team mentoring things where they can help mentor the newer players, because with the growth of the sport, it's good and bad. We've got a lot of people coming in, but if those people come in with the wrong attitude or come in with the wrong frame of mind, that kind of thing, it can kind of breed like a virus. So we would like to have teams mentor their fellow players. That way they can get all the questions answered, be good examples for the new players. And let's let that virus spread. Right? Let it go field to field. That way we can get the sport back.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I mean, that's the part about Airsoft we got to always keep our eye on the prize for. Is
we are
growing,
community guys. We got to work together. So you guys with the fields.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's good to have concern for your fellow Airsoft, even if they're on the opposing team. Like, you want to make sure they're playing safe, having a good time, not being overshot. And I mean, for me, like, it's always, I try my best in the field, and like sometimes like I can't tell if a person's dead, but if I overshoot them, generally like I'll call myself out and walk up and be like, hey, are you okay?
Yes, I've seen you go up and give him the knuckle bump. Hey, you all right? Sorry about that.
Well,
yeah, and we all do it. I mean, sometimes a guy won't get his arm up quick enough or something.
Or you don't know.
Or you don't know.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah. Let's see. Shout out, Mr. Muncherman. Your shout out is approved, and thanks for always coming back on our live show. You were here almost every single time. Appreciate that. Let's see. Best pistol flashlight. I'm going to be a snob because I don't buy a lot of expensive things, but I just got a Surefire X300 Ultra, so I'd suggest that.
I'd agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Lifetime warranty, I believe.
Yeah.
Haven't really put the batteries in yet, but a lot of my friends have them. I've used them, and it's awesome.
They work. They work really good.
Yeah. Let's see. What are your thoughts on veterans playing Airsoft?
We've got a lot of veterans that play.
Yes.
A lot of them. I've heard comments from a lot of the guys too that's helped with some of the issues that they may have dealt with from being out in combat. Some guys it doesn't help everybody, but it does help a large enough group. We love having them out. We have Marines come out all the time, Army. We've got some Navy guys come out. There's a few Air Force guys that come out. So all the branches. It's a little bit more in the Marines and the Army side though.
We also had one of the guys running the buggy for a while was Coast Guard.
Yeah, right. Ron, he's actually at the training center, actually training Marines right now.
Yeah, that guy's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. So yeah, I think it's great, and they bring a lot to the sport, and definitely have not had too many problems with the military guys.
No, honestly, like, my personal feeling is like I feel honored just to be playing on the same
Absolutely,
field.
that's what we're doing is kind of honoring them every time we play. So when they come out and play alongside of us, it's that's actually really, really nice treat to have them out there.
No, absolutely. And I would actually want to second the fact that, there are a lot of veterans that do come out to deal with PTSD. And in fact, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I was at John Liu's Operation Nightclaw's Military Simulation Series, Red Storm 2, in Whittier, California. And there was this gentleman there who told us on camera that the VA actually told him, like, hey, you have some PTSD to work through. Go check out Airsoft. It's actually a good way to work through it. And he actually won Honorable Player of the Day and got a Russian loadout, which is pretty awesome. And it was his first time playing an op. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of veterans in this community. I'm hoping for more. I'm sure Craig is as well. And yeah, there's
a lot more than you may think. A lot of the guys are very quiet and don't let you know about it.
And those are the real folks.
Those are the real guys.
Usually the folks that are bragging SEAL Team 6, operator of that,
probably
are not the real deal.
Yeah, usually you don't even know it.
No. Oh, we have a viewer from Brazil. Well, hi, Van and BR. It's nice to see you. There's actually a really big airsoft community in Brazil. A lot of gas guns.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Pretty awesome. Definitely love to go down and play there. AKM4 Airsofter. Yo, my parents think that airsoft is a waste of time and money. What would you say to them? Me personally, I think it's actually an incredible way to do a number of things. 1, get out of the house. 2, it's a great way, an exceptional way to get exercise. 3, it's also an incredible way to make friends. When I was growing up in middle school and high school, I was kind of shy growing up, and that was actually a way sometimes when some of my friends didn't want to go out and play, I'll go out there, and in the airsoft community, generally folks are pretty friendly if you're not dealing with the people that are being snobbish about it, but it's actually a really great way to meet friends. That's how I met my buddy Tim, who is formerly of Airsoft GI, currently at Chris USA. I've met a lot of different friends through Airsoft, so it's a great way to meet new friends, get a substantial amount of exercise, and get out of the house. And those are three really important things. Your thoughts?
Absolutely, couldn't say it better. Yeah, I mean, you sit on the couch, play video games all day, or actually get out and meet some people. And the group of people in Airsoft, awesome group.
Mm-hmm.
A lot worse crowds you can hang out with. We've had a lot of moms come in, oh, I hate guns, I don't really want my kid playing this, it's guns. And that's not, I mean, while we are shooting each other with Airsoft, the sport's really about the camaraderie, team building, making friends, hanging out with your buddies, on the weekend, going out working together. A lot of teamwork involved. So, yeah, I see nothing but positive for it.
Yeah, and it's a very good way to learn gun safety, too,
Oh,
without
absolutely.
having a real
Yeah,
firearm.
I got my kids started when they were 3-4 years old.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, we got them started with Airsoft, 3-4 years old, not playing games, but, getting familiar with the weapons so that they learn safety. Because you've got guns around the house, you got to teach your
Yeah,
kids
of course.
safety,
I just figured they're just forming memories at 3 years old. That's crazy.
Well, they did pretty good.
Well played, sir.
They haven't killed anybody yet either.
Working
It's a
on
good
it. Call sign Smalls. Your shout out is approved. Wait, how old are your kids now?
14 and 16.
Wow, that is a serious puberty age, I believe. Yeah.
That is.
Now you said, well, your 14-year-old's like that tall?
Yeah, he's outgrown me. He got grandpa's genes, so I got to
Wow.
be careful around him. And he plays Airsoft too, so
Well, is he going to be at the game?
he may.
Cross my fingers.
He may.
I hope you do enter the game at some point.
I will be entering the game at some point.
Yeah. No
If you
telling.
can find me during the game, I will give you something.
not going to say what.
I'm not going to say
Could
what.
be a pat on the back.
Could
but
be a patch or something.
that'd be,
I don't know.
that'd be
We'll
pretty
see.
dope. All right, Sentinels of Airsoft, your shout out is approved. Glorious shout out. AKM for Airsoft, your shout out is approved. We're actually getting to the end of the live show, so KC Ops Airsoft shout out is going to get approved. Widescreen Airsoft, your shout out is likewise approved. Let's see if there are any other questions. Oh, this is a good question from Mr. Munchman. If you could, would you Polar Star one of your guns and why? Do you want to go first? Or you want me to?
I'll go first. I probably wouldn't, just because I like to keep my guns at real rate of fire. So that would be the only reason for me not to do it. I like accurate rates of fire. I don't like to lose all the muscle memory it took so long to get. So I just like to keep everything kind of at real levels. But your turn.
Yeah, it's weird. I've actually had a bit of a turnabout in the past couple months about my thoughts on Polar Stars. I recognize that they are effective and they are consistent and they're generally reliable. However, I've never been one to want to use one just because I like having feedback in my guns. I like feeling like it's a gun. However, I recently saw, well, a few months back, Level Cap from Level Cap Gaming. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Rocking just house, murking fools with his Polar Star DMR. And there are certain setups where you can actually get more range than you would think on a DMR setup using a Polar Star system. So I've actually been thinking about, like, I don't have a DMR in my inventory, and that's a gap I want to plug.
Trigger response is pretty awesome.
Yes.
On them. I gotta give it that. They really do have some good trigger response.
I mean, that's the thing is I've always been a bolt action guy, and the reason I wanted to do DMRs for those follow-up shots, and with the Polar Star, the follow-up shots are just almost immediate.
Instantaneous, yeah.
Yeah, so I've actually been considering adding a DMR to my inventory and making that a Polar Star build, just for the fact of accuracy and effect on target. Or not accuracy, but firepower and effect on target. So, yeah, that's why and how. All right, we got time for a few more questions or shout out. Call sign Frostman, your shout out is approved. Ooh, this is an interesting question from Colby Baker. Do you think Airsoft could help in a real world situation? I mean, I don't know.
If aliens were allergic to plastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as Airsoft helping in real world, it would really go around as far as, like, training at home if you can't make it to the range, or if you can't afford to make it to the range. Airsoft is a good way to practice firearm manipulation techniques at home or in an affordable setting. And in fact, Daniel did a video about that a little while ago about, I can't remember the exact title, but it was like training at home or training Airsoft. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but it's a good way to train manipulation techniques, trigger pull, and other such firearms.
Actually, we got a lot of law enforcement clients that actually do use Airsoft. Yeah, some still use the simunition, some use other methods, but there are a lot using Airsoft. And I remember a story many years back about one of the owners of KSC trained for many years with his Airsoft G model pistol, and then came over to the U.S. and actually won one of the competitions.
Really?
Yeah. So you'll have to fact check that one for me.
I would love to
Might
hear.
have been one of those urban myths from way back in the day.
That's pretty dope though. Actually, I would agree because I've talked to a fair amount of folks in law enforcement that have used airsoft, and I asked them like, hey, what is your opinion on airsoft versus simunition? And the vast majority of them, I would say 9 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, were like, we really like airsoft because you may not get that gunpowder smell and the gunpowder recoil, but you don't get the simunition jams.
You don't,
which is a big problem for simunition.
Or the big giant bruises that are about that big.
Though I've actually shot simunition once, and I wish I'd gotten shot, but I was the only guy that didn't get shot that day because I got lucky and my aim was on target, but I mostly got lucky.
It's a lot harder to get role players for the simunition training than it is for the airsoft.
Yeah, because it hurts.
Yeah.
So I've been told. So, all right, well, guys, we are at the end of our live show. We actually went a bit over time because we obviously had those technical difficulties earlier. Morgan McComb, your shout out is approved because you got it in just under the wire. But I want to thank Craig from GamePod Combat Zone for being in our office today and
Thanks for having me down here.
Absolutely, and make sure to check out GamePod Combat Zone on Facebook. And what's the name of your website again?
CombatZoneCQC.com.
Awesome. Check it out and make sure to hit their Facebook page up with a like. And also make sure to check out BB Wars Episode 2 Shadows of Fate, sponsored exclusively by G&G Armament on AirsoftGR.com. And if you want to get to this game, get your tickets now.
Less than 2 weeks away.
Less than 2 weeks, and it is going to be ridiculous.
That's going to be epic.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching our live show, our GITV live show on June 16th, 2015. Got it right this time. Once again, I'm Bobby Axeman Hildren. This is Craig, and this is also Raul behind the camera, who you can't see, but he's a champion.
Hi.
Well played, sir. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.